Hi, I'm JT. I'm the CEO of Truck Driver Power, also known as TDP. I generally go by Thunder in the mobile app, but today I'm going to create a new user account to showcase how you would connect with your dispatcher when you download the mobile app. I'm going to create a username called Big Wheels. You're going to want to tell your dispatcher what that username or CB handle is so they can invite you to their company based on that CB handle. So I'm going to tell somebody Big Wheels in a test dispatch company I created called Profit Lane Dispatch. So when I hit next now on the mobile app, my user account will be created in the Truck Driver Power network. At which point, you would tell your dispatcher that you have created the user account in Truck Driver Power. What you'll see here first is the map. We'll come back to this. This is where you have free truck GPS. You can trip plan. There's incredible weather features. We can spend a couple seconds on that. But for the moment, I want to show you where you can find your dispatcher. So for starters, in the top left, you see there's 3 bars for that menu. You're going to want to hit that menu. I have not invited you yet, or if I have not invited Big Wheels to Profit Lane, but when I do, it'll be in the dispatch services. I'm going to go in there now just to show you that it's blank and that there's nothing in there. I'm going to hit the X to go back out. It's going to take me back to the map. And now I'm going to be inviting, Big Wheels to the Profit Lane Dispatch Company. I just want to zoom in on the map really briefly as well and show you that the map has, parking, way stations, Walmarts. Red means a way station's closed. Green means it's open. For truck stops, if I swipe this up, you've got truck stops. You can turn them on and off. Way stations on and off. Yellow would mean there's some spots available at, say, that Flying J. This is information that gets updated by drivers in the network. They can add locations and stuff. So here's a Flying J. It says there's some parking available. I have to be within a mile to check in or update the parking status, so it can't be gamed. If I tap the Flying J or the 3 dots menu button on the right, then it'll pull up. I can add that to my route or add it along an existing route if I have one. I'm going to view the details of that right now so that you can see what would pull up in terms of different reviews that might be existing, how many parking spots there are, how many def lanes. In this case, there's only one person that said huge parking. You can give them a call if you wanted to and leave reviews, like I said. Anywhere you tap on the map, it's going to show you the weather forecast for that location currently, as well as out 24 hours if you want to see it by the hour for 24 hours, or you can see it out by 5 days across the bottom. So there's a whole bunch of weather features in here, but now let's go. In the top right, I'm going to hit the X to get rid of the point of interest, the Flying J that I had clicked on. I'm going to hit the 3 menu bar in the top left, and under the Pro Tools section, I'm going to go into Dispatch Services. I'm going to pull down right now because I don't think it loaded, but there we go. There's the private lane dispatch. I've requested that. So when you hit enable, your dispatcher will be able to see your current location. When you're using the GPS, you'll be able to see the ETAs if you enter an address, and then they can send you messages both written, like a text, or they have a radio feature that'll just play through your phone, speakerphone, kind of like a walkie-talkie. So I'm going to hit enable now. And if I pull down and refresh, it'll show that it's connected. So I'm going to hit that X, and now I'm back on the map again. So they can see right now in the Profit Lane on their computer where I'm located in Pennsylvania. If I hit record run, that basically just locks the GPS on.
Starting run.
You can close the app and go about doing anything else you want, and your dispatcher can still see kind of where you are and your rate of speed and stuff like that. If you pause the run,
Run paused.
it pauses.
Pro tip. Weather forecasts along your route can help you dodge storms.
It'll pause from where you are. If you want to turn off some of those little pro tips in the gear icon, so you see the compass on the map in the top right, I'll tap the compass now and it locks north. I'm going to hit the gear icon now, and you'll see there's different sounds that you can turn on and turn off. So if you don't want to hear those helpful things like the info, if you don't want to hear that there might be traffic ahead or accidents, you can turn off the driver reports. The turn by turn sound, that would be turn left, turn right if you've loaded up the full navigation. Here are some of those truck settings where you can enter your height, weight, width, whether you want your routing to avoid tolls or whether it's a hazmat load, stuff like that. I'm going to close this again. Oh, there's one more thing down here. You can change which brands of truck stops you show and don't show. So if there's a particular brand like Love's that you always go to, or Pilot or Flying J, you can turn the other ones off. One more thing, there's 3 stacked squares below that gear icon. In there, you can turn on Earth mode to see a satellite view, or night mode if you're driving at night. But more importantly as well, there's weather radar features here to get kind of pressure fronts, but then there's some in here for icy roads, also wind speeds and tornadoes, even a hurricane one that's pretty interesting. So if I close that, zoom way out and go down, I know there's one down in Mexico right now. So you could see kind of where a hurricane has been and kind of where its path is going to be. All kinds of weather features there for you in this app. So again, if you swipe the app up, the swipe up tray, you can turn little weather icons on and off. These hours are to help you see where you'd be along a trip. But let's go back to some dispatch stuff here. I'm going to click on the tab on the right here that's called the radio. Now you'll see in here, this is where you would have your Profit Lane dispatch channel, radio channel with them. Currently in the top right, you'll see there's a toggle that's off. I'm going to toggle it on. Now the radios could be on, but I currently have the Profit Lane dispatch disconnected. So those aren't on. You can join groups and join different channels if you wanted to by hitting the plus add channel, and that's where those would be. If you wanted to join a group, you can do that in the side menu. So 3 bars in the top left, tap that, and then on the left, if you scroll down into the community section, you'll see groups, where you can find a whole bunch of different groups to join, and they have their own dedicated chat rooms. This is an area where drivers can also share their locations among each other if they wanted to. So there's a social element to the mobile app. But again, you do not have to use that. The primary function here is for you to be able to show your dispatcher where you are, keep them up on ETAs, and receive messages from them. So, for example, I'm going to click on the Big Wheels Profit Lane dispatch right now, and that's going to connect. I was connected so I could hear, but now that blue button in the bottom right would allow me to send them a message like, "Hey there, TDP, I'm all logged in the mobile app, looking forward to working with you." And when you let go, it sends it over to the dispatcher, and they can hear your audio message and play it back. If they wanted to kind of send you a message, they can type you a text message and it'll come over into a chat room. And so, if I were to go into the menu again and then click at the top up here, chat rooms for the Pro Tools, I see there's an option there for Big Wheels Profit Lane Dispatch. And if I am in that chat room, I can receive a message from, my dispatcher like this.
Noel said, "Thanks for hooking up TDP's dispatch services solution driver."
And I can say sure back. They can see that. I can say something, to you in the mobile app as a dispatcher as well. So if I'm going to move my phone to the right, but over on my computer, I'm going to send a message to this app real quick. Breaker, breaker, this is your dispatcher. You keep the wheels rolling and I'll keep the loads flowing over here. Drive safe. Over. Breaker, breaker, this is your dispatcher. You keep the wheels rolling and I'll keep the loads flowing over here. Drive safe. Over. So you can see it now in the app, and if you wanted to play it again, you can hit play and it'll play again for you. Breaker, breaker, this is your dispatcher. You keep the wheels rolling and I'll keep the loads flowing over here. Drive safe. Over. So back to the radio tab again. This is where you can send just a one quick message, like running late, or if you just wanted to send, that audio, you could just press it over here. Hey, running late. Sorry about that. I'll call you when I get there. And they'll get that message for you that way. On the top right, there's a Bluetooth icon. So if you do want to connect it to your car or your truck, or to a Bluetooth Blue Parrot headset, it should work with the Blue Parrot push to talk button. We're still troubleshooting that with a couple of them, but hopefully that'll work for you, so it can be hands free. And you can do what you need to. I'm going to go back over to the map real quick and show you. We've got this run paused, but I do want to run through real quick a trip. You can see the weather radar there. I want to build a quick trip so that you're aware of how that works. So those options would be to hit the Where To button here, or if I were not started up, I could have hit a blue button on the tray that would say directions or get directions. If I have a run going just in run record mode, it is there as the blue icon for directions. But when it's paused, you have options for end run or start run again. So you don't have access to that direction. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the Where To in the top right. At which point I'll type in something like, let's say Port of Elizabeth. And, we'll just go with, anything in here, New York Container Terminal. Sure, that's fine. At which point there's truck settings. So that's the same thing where we were before, the purple button. If I hit that, you can see that. There's different presets for dry van and reefer. If you wanted to, say, make it an 8-foot height, container, you could do that. And if you do make it 8 feet and you want to save it for future, you can say dry van 8 feet. And then that'll be in your presets in the future. So if I go into truck settings, select, scroll to the bottom, there's the dry van 8 feet. And I can select that one. Again, tolls, tunnels, hazmat loads, you can include that and save that as presets. You hit the save to go back. If I want to add location, I can add multiple trips here. I'm going to show you the select on map feature. That pulls up crosshairs, so you can kind of pick anywhere on the map that you want to add along your route. Say you don't know exactly the address of a spot, or the address doesn't load quite right. You can hit select there and add that location. And then we'll use the longitude, latitude of that spot to take you there. It was after, we want to go there before the New York Container Terminal. So I'm going to hit the arrow to the left and move it up in this waypoint list. And you can just keep adding locations as you go. Your saved locations is in that gray button. We're going to advance into the next. And, from here, it's going to pull up 3 route choices. They're going to go through those waypoints. I'm going to turn off some of these things here and show you just like, the point of that route time is to show you where you'd be in 1 hour, 2 hours. Maybe you only have 3 hours of gas. So if it's 3 hours of gas, then I can kind of put on the truck stops, find the truck stop that I want, and kind of click one if I wanted to, and add it to my route if I want to do that. Tap it and add a long route. It'll take it and it'll insert it back into my trip plan, and you can see now there's another yellow dot there. So lots of different ways to do that. I'm going to turn off those truck stops, turn off that clock. I am going to turn on the weather right now, and you'll see it's telling me at 1 p.m. where I'll be and what the weather looks like in those spots, at 4 p.m. what the weather looks like. If I want to see that in a list view, I tap that weather storm cloud button on the right, just above the purple route selection option, and it's going to pull up a list of weather for that particular trip plan, and it'll show you the national weather forecast alerts that might be on that route. If I tap on one, I can get more information about that hazardous alert, and so you can kind of see, trip plan the weather you're going to drive through. So if I hit select route, it'll pick the route that I wanted, and at which point it'll say I'm going to go to the New York terminal, and when I hit go, I'll start getting turn-by-turn directions to the New York terminal, and my dispatcher will be able to see kind of what my next stop is with 2 additional stops along the way, and kind of what time I'll get to my first stop and stuff like that. So At this point, you've got the turn-by-turn directions going, and the dispatcher can see your current location, as well as the ETA to your different destinations. Um, if you go to the Profile tab, real quick, I'll show you where you can change your picture if you want to do that. So this is your Profile tab. It's on the left of the Navigation tab across the bottom. I'm going to click on the gear icon on the top right, and this is where you could change your username if you wanted. And then here you tap to change your avatar. That's where your profile picture is. That's me. You can take one, or I'm going to click the photo and just grab something here, crop it, and
Follow Interstate Highway 80 East.
and load that.
In 163.8 miles, take exit 178 on the right towards Lock Haven.
If you want to delete your account after, something's not working, in your account settings at the very bottom, that's where you can permanently delete your account, and stuff like that. There's all kinds of stuff. After you do runs, you get coins. So the coin store is a place where you can voluntarily, back us if you wanted to support us. But the app is free, and when you get coins for using it, like updating parking and stuff like that, driver alerts, or helping out the community, you get coins, and you can change your background, or you can kind of equip your profile with different little emblems like a gear, a tire thumper, road, a tire gator, spiked hubcaps, stuff like that. If that's not your bag, no problem. I'm just showing you a little bit more of the app. The social tab, this is a feed where you can see a leaderboard where you would rank against other drivers in a given month, or you can see the different activities of different drivers in the network. If you join a group, then it gets curated based on the group and the different drivers in that group. And I'm going to go back to the map real quick and show you just one more thing, a couple ways to get in touch with us. One more thing, this blue button that looks like a map, if I tap that, it'll zoom out, and if I tap it again, it'll zoom in. If I move the map, it unlocks, but I can hit that arrow again to lock myself back in on my location. If I hit that pink plus button, that's where I can add a new truck stop, or I can add a new loading bay if I wanted to add a particular location that address isn't working, but that's going to work, or a way where the parking entrance is, and you wanted a route to that. You can add a whole bunch of information here, and we'll add more in the future. I'm just going to back out and not add anything. But again, that's also where you can update way station statuses when they're nearby, parking statuses when they're nearby. You can report traffic, whether it's high, heavy, or little. You can report human trafficking if you see something when you're out there on the road. This goes directly to the Truckers Against Trafficking, as well as the human trafficking hotline, so they can get in touch with authorities. So yeah, that's how you can kind of get points and stuff. If there's a problem with the routing and you swipe up the tray, at the very bottom, you've got a report bug function. That is really helpful to let us know if there's some kind of an error. We really need that additional information box filled in, for what happened, where there might be a particular issue, what that issue was. We'll get a little data file from this, but we won't know exactly where in that data file the issue is. So we need that additional information, and we can get that stuff fixed. Again, there's 5-day weather forecast nearby where you are, out 24 hours, and the current weather. If you wanted to see weather along your route, it's down here as well as your directions if you wanted to see the turn-by-turn directions in a list view before you go places. This is where you can edit your route as well, and kind of change those waypoints if you wanted to hit that blue button for the directions. When it's a kind of a big multi-stop trip like this, sometimes it can take a couple more minutes to kind of load everything up. But there it is. I can clear that route. I can remove a particular stop, and get a new route to that location, and all kinds of stuff like that. the other thing I wanted to lastly mention is that in the app side menu,
in 338.7 miles, take exit 43 on the right towards Morristown.
You can ignore the job opportunity stuff. That's for the CD company drivers in our network that might be looking for new carriers, and we'll make sure to not bother people with that then when they're dispatch users and whatnot. There's a whole bunch of stuff on achievements for driving through different states. You can favorite your different truck stops, and different groups you can join. I talked about that. But the send feedback option is where you can just kind of shoot us a note that we'll catch, just a quick note. But if you do want to send us a screenshot of something or a video, in the bottom right, the contact us, that'll pull up an email to support@truckdriverpower.com. And if you hit the help center, we've got a bunch of different
in 338.7 miles, take exit 43 on the right towards Morristown.
Instructions on how to do different things and how the profile might work and stuff like that. So lots of different ways to get in touch with us if you have issues. We're all ears, and we look forward to working with you. Thanks so much for giving TDP a shot with your dispatcher, and we hope you like what we've put together here for you. Again, I'm JT. I'm the CEO of Truck Driver Power. The company is also known as TDP. And you can reach us at support@truckdriverpower.com. You can also call 314-669-6229. And we're here to help. Thanks so much, and drive safe.